pleased and happy to have here in the studio with us. It's my great pleasure to introduce you to Amir Kripper. Hello, Amir. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good. Thank you for being here with us. You're an architect.
That's true.
What is an architect?
It's a good question. It is a good question.
Do?
Some people don't have a clear idea what we do.
Yeah.
We work with builders, with developers, with homeowners, and good architects can take those ideas that they have and transform into something else. Not just to respond to the program, to the basic needs, but in addition to that, produce something different, unique, unexpected. That's really when architecture happens.
Now, I've always thought that an architect was somebody who could take a building and know the angles, and you're obviously an artist.
Yeah.
Right? Are you working at a drafting table?
Not anymore.
But is that traditional?
That's what people think. And when I started school in 1996, we still have drafting tables. Yeah. Those days are gone.
1996, when you were in the second grade, you mean?
Yeah.
God. But now it's all on computers, isn't it?
All computers.
Yeah.
But we still sketch a lot. At least I like to sketch a lot, and it's a great tool, the hand. And for me, it's really part of my process to start sketching ideas, and eventually that will be translated to a computer, into different programs and software, and then into other drawings. But the first ideas are coming from the hand.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about Symphony Hall and how that is one of the most incredible architectural gems in New England, in the country. Does any of that kind of thing come into play with you, or is that more engineering?
Well, the architects, they have the knowledge of coordinating many other disciplines. We're generalists, meaning that we know a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So we're not lighting designers, but we know about lighting. We're not landscape architects, but we know about landscape. And the same thing with acoustical engineering. We know the basics, and that's enough to have an informed conversation and advice.
Because I'm thinking you've got to be a pretty integral part of. The architect must have been very integral as far as how things and where things are going in a room such as that, or any. What kind of things are you doing today?
So now we're working from small projects, and I have some images today to show you.
Yeah.
Some residential projects in New England, and then up to very large scales, from small homes, additions and new homes, to commercial projects such as restaurants, office spaces, retail, and then to really large scale projects.
High rises. Big buildings.
Yeah, we are working in actually downtown Boston, new office building on 10 Winthrop Square, so exciting projects.
Are you with a firm?
Yeah.
Who are you working with?
Well,
you can say
my own firm.
You can say it.
It's Kripper Architecture Studio.
Okay.
We're based in the South End.
Yeah.
And
gee, everyone's in the South End.
I know.
It's great, isn't it?
It's exciting.
It's an exciting part of town, yeah.
There must be a lot of, I find the South End so beautiful in terms of all the buildings. There's old buildings and new buildings coming up everywhere. Do you find it to be inspiring? It's such a beautiful part of the city.
What is really nice and meaningful, it's to be part of a community. So you are in a location where your neighbors, they care about arts. Your neighbors at the building, but also when you go for a coffee, there is something up in the air, and that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Are you able to draw from your surroundings down there? I mean, let's say somebody in Hoboken, New Jersey needs a building built, and they say, I like the way the South End looks in Boston. I'd like to do something of that nature.
It's always about taking something from the local, what's in there, and then transforming.
Yeah.
But the local conditions inform the work a lot.
I see.
Like you cannot just, at least for me, just transport something from the South End and then implant it in a totally different environment.
It might not fit.
It might not fit. It has to do with the environment, with the weather. You cannot just imagine that a building in the South End in Phoenix.
Right.
Right. So it has to be with many other conditions that they are local.
Right. Well, let's take a look at some of the pieces,
Sure.
some of the photographs that you brought with you. Let's see, what is...
So what we're seeing now is an interesting project. It's an addition to a house in Maine. It's the smallest project I'm showing today. What you see on the right side, it's an addition that it's a very contemporary building, but at the same time, it's very grounded in traditional architecture.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. Take something that blends in with the environment, as I was saying. So it's cedar-cladded shingles, but the result at the same time is very contemporary.
Now,
Very
did
clean.
the client ask for something that was an extension off the building, but still be able to fit into the historic preservation of the area and stuff
Exactly.
like that? Yeah, yeah.
So that's a challenge. How you do that? You know, what are the things that you take, and what are the things you leave behind?
Right.
And then the end result, the product has to be, in my mind, contemporary.
Right. Okay.
Wow. That's incredible.
Thank you.
It reminds me, it almost makes me nervous. It reminds me of playing Jenga as a kid. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
Where is
insanely
this?
stable.
Well, this is a very interesting project, and this is in Detroit. And this is a proposal we did for the developer that wanted to have a building iconic that will be the symbol of a renaissance of Detroit.
Ah, okay.
So what you see here, it's a building that has three components. The base is retail, there is office in the middle block, and then on the upper part is a hotel.
In a garden in between.
And a garden in between.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
So the architecture has a power of being almost as a catalyst of new development. If you
Right.
think here in Boston, projects like the ICA,
Yeah, yeah.
that, you know, when that was built, there was nothing.
Right, right, right.
And now you see all the development around it.
Right, right, right.
So architecture has that kind of power.
It can be a cornerstone.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that can build off of it.
And that's exactly what this project is aiming for.
Yeah, yeah.
This is something we just finished. We're very proud of. It's a restaurant in Needham, Blue and Highland. And the challenge there's another image, a couple more, but the challenge there is how to reinvent kind of an American restaurant. Mm-hmm. What are the things that we want to show? And that's very interesting working with the owners, taking their vision,
Right.
and making something unique.
Right.
I love the light wood, and that's beautiful. I feel like you don't see that very often.
Yeah, and we try to, to showcase natural materials. In this case, hickory. And
Beautiful.
thank you. So hickory, metal. So it's kind of industrial chic, and that was kind of the goals for this project.
Mm-hmm.
The goal was to bring something like that, very industrial, but at the same time warm and inviting.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of natural light here.
It's very bright,
You know?
and it's facing Highland Avenue. That's the main street in Needham.
I know a guy who can put some paintings on those walls there.
Bring that on.
Bring them on. There you go. Speaking of working with the business owner or the property owner or something like that, you'll sit and talk with them about their vision and whatnot. Where does the line come to where it's, I got to stop you now and I've got to do my job?
Good architects are good listeners.
Yeah.
So you have to listen carefully.
Yeah.
It's not about imposing your vision. It's about listening very carefully and taking all that and then processing that and then produce something else and unexpected.
Yeah. Are you folding your vision in with theirs?
Yeah, in many cases, yeah, because and good projects are really that result of a dialogue.
Yeah.
So you were able to listen carefully what they wanted.
Yeah.
Homeowner, business owner, an institution, a museum.
Yeah.
And then bring something that's unexpected, something that they weren't thinking, but at the same time responds exactly to the points that they're in their wish list.
Right. I can imagine that if they're using their head, they know where you're coming from.
Yeah, well, that
before
helps
you
a
get
lot.
to the picture.
That helps a lot. Like there is a common ground.
Yeah.
That we're on the same page.
Yeah.
The problem is when those two parties are not connected.
Right.
They're not on the same page. But as I said, good projects are a result of a good dialogue. So when you see something that doesn't look right, most likely that the match wasn't proper.
Are there any architects or artists that, I mean, that you pull some of your inspiration from, maybe like Frank Lloyd Wright, or maybe not even an architect, maybe a painter or a sculptor that you see and that constantly inspires you, and you like to show that through your designing?
That's a great question. I mean, I was thinking of Frank Lloyd Wright when I was driving over here. And I, with the years, I admire him even more. It just, you can see how someone was able to transform and create new American architecture.
Yeah.
And being able to establish that kind of dialogue.
And consistently.
Consistently.
Oh, gee.
So, I really admire him. There are many other architects that I do look constantly. I mean, these days you have so much exposure to imagery.
Right.
And you take a little bit of everything, and then this comes into this blender that's in your brain, and then you come with these ideas.
Now that you're the firm,
Yeah.
do you have a bunch of architects sitting around
We do.
and working out things on a workshop basis? Do you find yourself more outside the building more than in?
Yeah. So my role, it's a little different.
Yeah.
It just
Is that okay?
that is okay. Yeah, it's part of. It's a natural process. So it's not much in the production. It has more about the dialogue.
Yeah. So you're with the customer. You're holding hands more.
Yes.
We promise it's not going to fall over.
But I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I
That
do.
must be so interesting to be involved in I imagine you have to know the materials. You would have to have an incredible sense of math. And just every single aspect of creating a building, making it able to sustain itself and live through a winter snowstorm, I mean, that's
Well,
awesome.
there's all that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, materials is something I'm obsessed with. And taking those materials and having them do something unexpected, something, like the project I was showing about the restaurant, taking those planks of hickory, and because of the size, the way they are treated, they become something different. So materials is something of my work that I'm very obsessed with.
What's your place like?
Yeah.
Is it just a disaster because you're?
You know what? I'm, very lucky. I was able to convince my wife.
Yeah.
That's a huge challenge right there. To buy a home built in 1875.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow.
So
That's great.
It's a beautiful farmhouse, but it's a project.
Yeah, it's all, on weekends you have enough to do, right? That's coming home. You know what my bride did today? She sent me an edible arrangement. Sent it to school.
Oh,
Nice.
It was
that's so
very nice.
thoughtful.
That's very nice.
It was just for helping her with the laundry.
Janice is awesome.
She is something, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, this is very exciting, actually. I love architecture. I've been with the Main Streets program for a long time. We're always looking at buildings. This building here. When you got here, we were talking about it. You said this is a fascinating building. It's
Beautiful.
Isn't it something?
I really like, they left many of the historical components in place.
Very important.
And the contrast with the new, it's really powerful.
Yeah, we love it here. I want to thank you very much. Is there a website people can go to?
Absolutely. It's kripperstudio.com.
Thank you very much for being here. I really
Thank you so
appreciate you
much.
being here. We can say goodnight with us? You don't mind, do you?
Sure.
Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being with us. And please remember, keep that in your mind. We have little kids running around in the neighborhood. And we want everyone to stay safe and be happy, right? Don't we?
Yes.
We do.
Listen, get out there and do something artful for yourself, will you? There's a bunch of stuff Val's been talking about. It's all over our website. If you go to the Facebook page, please remember to like us and check it out. And like I said earlier, this show will be up on our YouTube station sometime, maybe this time tomorrow night. So check us out there. There's lots of past shows there and all kinds of things. Listen, gang. Like we like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please keep them in your mind, do something artful for them. When you're walking around, check out a building or two. They're beautiful around the city, aren't they?
They are.
They are. Listen, gang, we'll see you next week, okay? Bye-bye now.